The first two speakers this morning give me a lot of good information, so they serve as a background for my presentation. Jason concluded his presentation with a question that why there are so many failure cases in terms of new product development. The first reason is that they fail to have sufficient study on the market. That means that you don't have enough understanding about your consumers or your targets. The FMCG is actually leading in terms of a consumer study. Today, I would like to take this opportunity to talk with you about how you can better study your consumers. And we're comfortable with the UNA. So what can you learn from UNA? That is, that from UNA you are able to know the trends in the current market. But if you want to grow your business in the coming few years, what you are concerned about is not the current trends in the market. When you get a UNA report, that what you get is actually the information about the past or the current market. For your company to grow, what you are interested in is actually the emerging in the opportunities in the market. I would like to open my presentation with some business questions of great interest to you. The first question, where are my products and competitors are playing today? And so my consumers, why they choose us or not choose us? How can I compete with other big players? And what are the pockets of opportunities? And are these pockets of opportunities big enough for me to make good use of these opportunities? And another question of great interest to us is that what are the key innovation opportunities and how can we play? And actually, that in the final say that what I'm interested is how can I grow my own business? And we have been using this supply model in China for so many years. So this is a traditional supply-based model running in China. That is, I have a product and I would like to bring to the Chinese market. So this is a typical, the traditional supply-based model. It has been running very well in China because the competition in China is not that fierce and the consumers are not that sophisticated. But from Jason's presentation, you are able to see that in terms of the FMCG market, the China market is moving towards of the developed markets. So when China is moving closer to the developed markets, in China market, what we are concerned is how we can grab opportunities from the competitors. That is, steal opportunities from the competitors. As a former CEO of Nielsen, David Hahu, and wrote a book with the CEO of the Cambridge Catch about this new demand-driven model. This model says that you need to look at the demand before you decide what to do. And so now there are so many tailor-made markets, for example, tailored travel service, tailored clothing. That is the typical application of the demand-driven model. Why we have to shift from the traditional supply-based model to this new demand-driven model? Actually, that to use the traditional model, we are typical the market followers. That is, that we follow the other companies. They already set the thing. The competitors already set the thing. For example, the competitor sets the price at 10 yuan. And for me to enter this market, I may have to set the price at 5 yuan, and with this I can steal more the market share from the competitors. If I set the price at 10 on par with the competitor, I have to persuade the market why that they have to switch from the original company to my company. If I set the price 5 yuan higher than the competitors, then you have to give the market sufficient reason that why you can charge such a premium. So to distinguish these two models, we can call that one model is the Red Sea, another model is the Blue Sea. Here I want to talk about Häagen-Dazs. When Häagen-Dazs entered the China market, that before it entered the China market, it has been for sale in the supermarkets in overseas for so many years. But if, for example, Häagen-Dazs started to sell its products in the supermarkets in China, so how many shoppers can afford the Häagen-Dazs? So the Häagen-Dazs, when it entered the China market, actually that it had to position itself as an experience or the premium experience. And so it has the boutique, the restaurant, and so in those boutique restaurants, the customers can experience the Häagen-Dazs ice cream, how it is different from the other ice creams. So with this kind of experience, the consumers are willing to pay the premium. So when the China market has been well educated for a few years, Häagen-Dazs starts to sell its product in the supermarkets. So we can see that when Häagen-Dazs entered the China market, it created its own unique space because Häagen-Dazs knew that it's such an expensive market for the Chinese consumers at that time. They had to create this kind of a boutique restaurant space. And Magnum, that's another example. This is also an ice cream brand. And it has a quite big market share in the ice cream category. It has some new move recently. Have you heard of it? And actually, that opened store in K11, 7-Eleven. So Magnum actually that takes the strategy opposite to the Häagen-Dazs. That is, in the 7-Eleven store, that you can create your own ice cream. So that's a DIY experience. So although that it's not the boutique restaurant experience, it's still experience. So that is why the Magnum ice cream in the 7-Eleven store can be 3 times expensive than other ice creams. So this is another ice cream story. So basically, you can say that it's still positioned itself as an experience. And also, this premium image of Magnum has been even uplifted. So I give you 2 ice cream stories. So each has used its own way to create its own competition space. So with this, they are able to define their own positioning and also their own price. So here, I would like to talk more with you about the demand framework. So how we can create the demand-driven space. What problem can this demand space framework intend to address? The first question that it addresses is where to innovate. That is, how do we better meet the consumer's demand? What are the most profitable new opportunities for us? Because if I jump into a Red Sea without creating any profitable opportunities for the company, it's meaningless. The second question this framework intends to address is has something to do with the product portfolio management. That is a question about where to play. That is, where are the gaps in our existing product portfolio? Do we have the right products to effectively cover the opportunities? So, for example, that in the current market, where are those gaps in terms of the product, in terms of the packaging, in terms of the marketing message? The third question that this framework intends to address has something to do with the brand positioning. The two ice cream cases I shared with you actually that are the cases about the brand positioning through creating experience. So, and this is a question about how to play. That is, what is the optimal brand's footprint on the framework? How should the brand evolve in the future? You need to have the vision about the brand's footprint in order to create the space in the market. Next is about execution. That is, how can I appeal to the right target? So it looks like a quite abstract model, so I'd like to now share with you specific cases. This is a case about a biscuit. And this case, we worked in 3 countries, so it has gone beyond China. And so if you are a snack or the biscuit manufacturer, so it may not directly applicable to you because this is a combination of 3 markets. So in the biscuit market in China or in the other markets, the biscuit penetration has been already very high. So even that in the developing markets has exceeded 90%. But the per capita, the consumption growth in the developing country is less than 5%. So that is why that this category takes a lot of efforts to develop the market. If that is the market situation for your category, or even you are from the other categories, you may face a similar situation, or you may face such a situation very soon. That is that the market penetration is already very high and the consumption is slowing down. So for such a market spaces, we have to think about how we can shift from the Red Sea to the Blue Sea. The Red Sea is that we only think of how to attract the non-users and get more the usage or the premiumize our existing base. So the food companies, they are comfortable with the concept, the share of throat or the share of stomach. But we know that the throat size or the stomach size are limited. That it's difficult for people to expand their throat size or the stomach size because the size of the market is already there. So we have to shift our thinking from the left to the right. That is, we have to look into the consumption occasions. That is, how can I steal one occasion from the competitors or from the competing categories? That is, that now they can, for example, instead of consuming the competing products or competing categories, they can consume or enjoy the biscuits. Or another strategy is that they can find some other things to go together with. And for example, the biscuits can go together with the afternoon tea. So this is an occasion that for the biscuits to find someone to go together with. And so the biscuit afternoon tea can serve as a couple. So I think that we need to think that how we can find the couple of our products. And of course, we have to look into the mind of the customers instead of your own perception. For us to find the new occasion or the biscuit space, now we have to look at the size of the market itself. If the market is too small, it may not be worthwhile for us to go into that market. So first of all, we need to look at the biscuit case that we have to look at the market size as the first step.
Take biscuits, for example. If you have another occasion for consumers to consume your biscuits, then the market will be as large as $5.5 billion. Of course, no single company can acquire such a big market. But when comparing different occasions, you'll be able to know which occasion will give you the biggest increase in terms of your total sales. So how can we do the calculation? Well, I think it is known to all that Nielsen is very authoritative in the consulting. So we have a lot of RMS data in many categories. If we do not have the tracking data for this category, then we can get third-party data for untracked categories, and we'll also do a survey. We'll look at the demand of consumers. This is the most important input. We'll gather all the information to decide whether the category is big enough. Well, the client believe, well, this is such a big market, $5.5 billion. If we can get 5% of the market, then this will be a big growth for us. Now let's go back to the business case. According to our study with consumers, we have 6W research, i.e. whom, when, why, where, with whom, and without whom. These 6Ws can explain why consumers consume this category or not consume this category. And it also explains when and why and where this category is consumed by consumers. This can answer this question 84% of the time. So for the biscuit case, if we look at when, why, and where, we can decide why consumers want to consume this category instead of other categories. With the big data analysis, we can identify all the demand spaces. This is a complicated chart. First of all, there are 4 colors. There are 4 platforms. From consumers' point of view, from consumers' demand point of view, these 4 colors represent 4 different demands. First, pamper, or relax, enjoying themselves. Second, rejuvenate. The biscuit makes me feel younger and more passionate. Second, connect. I can enjoy biscuit with my clients, with people I love. Replenish. That's number 4. That means I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, I need to eat or drink something. So these are the 4 big platforms. Take pamper, for example. And we found there are 2 demand spaces within pamper platform. First, midday hunger, or in the morning, around 10 o'clock, I'm hungry. Second, late night snacking, late at night. All these 2 spaces about when. For midday hunger, you can eat biscuits on the go, but when you're at home, you can eat biscuits late in the night. So with this model, we can define the consumption spaces for this product. Well, on the outside, you see there are words such as me and we, and pamper is all about yourself. It's about enjoying yourselves. On the other hand, social is all about we. It is a we moment. But for replenish and rejuvenate, sometimes it's about yourself, sometimes it's about people around you. So from this chart, you'll be able to identify all the demand spaces for consumers to consume snacks. Let me correct myself. This chart is not about biscuits. This is about snacks. Now, let's take late night snacking, for example. Well, we know most of the snacks are consumed in daytime. So night might be a good opportunity for us. Maybe at night we can persuade consumers to switch towards our category. If I'm going to target this consumption space, what do I need to do? First of all, we need to look at how big is this space. We look at the Chinese market, Indian market, and Brazil market. And we know how big the total market is. And we also know this occasion as a percentage of the total market space. For example, in China, 9%, in India, 11%. For late night snacking, this is a personal moment to indulge a late night snack to give in to an end of the day craving. Well, that means I worked hard for the whole day and then I have to reward myself. I deserve that. Sometimes driven by the need to pass time or simply fill up when late. For example, when I'm watching TV. For example, if I have to work overtime. For these occasions, you may want to eat some snacks. Well, currently, most of consumers may consume hot beverages, chocolate, candies, or other snacks. So this is the definition of late night snacking moment or space. So if I want to target this demand space, from this, I know what are the demands, what are the requirements of the consumers. The next thing we need to do is to implement our strategy. We need to look at 6 W's. First, where? For late night snacking, it is always consumed in living rooms or bedrooms. And why? Well, because I want to give in to a craving, I want to feel happy. And what? These are the competitions. For example, hot chocolate, coffee drinks. And when? Late at night. And next one, premium pay. At present, if we compare the product consumed in late night with products consumed in daily times, this product always is more expensive. That means consumers are willing to pay a premium for late night snacking. Because late at night, people always have emotional needs. That's why people are willing to pay a premium for the products. Well, we can also map out the products that are currently consumed on that occasion. We can do a customer survey to know the competition products. In that way, we'll be able to know what we need to do if we want to enter this market. Biscuit is now the first choice for late night. And we can also explore co-branding with well-known chocolate brands to enhance indulgence occasion because apart from food, people would like to drink beverage, in particular hot chocolate at late night. So if you want to launch a biscuit product, you may want to persuade your consumers to consume your product together with hot chocolate, thus co-branding. And we need to answer these questions in marketing, for example, promotion, packaging. If the product is consumed at home, then you don't need small packages. Maybe you can launch a big pack for the product, but for the outside, for the packaging, you must have a premium image. Most of the consumers work during the day, and you also need to position your product so that your product can offer indulgence to your consumers, an emotional appeal to your consumers. And we can decide on these P's according to the demands of consumers. Finally, well, I talked to you about the front end of the innovation funnel. This is the white spaces, finding or identifying opportunities. A few years ago, we also did a survey with big companies, and we found that successful innovators which means companies with great success in innovation have something in common. These successful companies spend more time on white spaces, on the front end. Well, take a pregnant woman, for example. If you are pregnant, but if you don't provide enough nutrition for the unborn kid, then how can we expect your kid will be healthy? Currently, we spend most of our energy and time on creation and activation. Maybe if you are competing in the Red Sea, that's fine. That's the rational thing to do. But if you want to target a blue sea, a totally new category, then you need to spend more time on the opportunity side, on the white spaces. You need to spend more time studying the consumption behaviors and demands of consumers. Only that way we'll be able to be successful. That's what I want to share with you. And my colleague Nicole. This is my colleague Nicole. If you have more questions, you can always come to us. We have a booth close to the registration desk, and you may ask questions to us. And we can also answer some of your questions now. Any questions? If not, thank you very much.